Yes, that I before the break I was talk about entirely about the about the Islam, and not about the Iman, or not about the Mu'min or Iman. So now I would like to bring that that the differentiation that Allah mentioned it in the Quran, that I would like to recite for you, that you will understand that the difference between Muslim and Mu'min. So those verses which I mentioned it about the Muslimun before the break, and now how about the Mu'minin? The Mu'minin verses in Quran is when say that is in chapter 8 in Quran was the إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. This verse is Quran mentioned that only those are the believer whose heart become throb when they heard the verse, the name of Allah. So when they recite in Quran, the hearing that is the Quran verses in their heart with the roof, that kind of shaking, because of the strong belief, the strong the fearing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the one sign of the Mu'min, supposed to be like this. And also the second things also about the Quran mentioned it about the Mu'min. He said, الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا لهم درجات عند ربهم ومغفرة ورزق كريم. So this is the another characteristic of the Mu'min, even though he is a Muslim, definitely, because we as a آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله تعالى والبعث بعد الموت. This is as a one of the Iman, the believing with the characteristics and the confess that the person is a Muslim and Mu'min. So that the الذين يقيمون الصلاة, which is the meaning of that was Allah said, those who keep up the salat and what we have provided them with, they spend. Then salat and يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون, and the one who is given to spend for the sake of Allah, for the way of Allah, means has to be give a charity, have to make khairat, have to give a zakat. But the other deen did not mention that one. So these are the characteristics of a Mu'minin. So and then the differentiations between Muslim and Mu'min. So and then also this is, and Allah said Mu'minuna haqqa, these are the one that to do this. And then lahum darajatun inda rabbihim, and then these all kind with the way which the Mu'min do, hasanat, aqimus salat, all the characteristics of the Islamic and Mu'minin, way of Mu'min, he has the by Allah is the highly in a place in maghfirat, and then also gave him more rizqan kareem. And also when someone spend $1 to the way of Allah, he definitely received many dollars upper than the way the person spent. But it's not any number that I can tell you. If you spend $1, how much you can get, but it is kareem, it is very mutabarrik, with a kind of very large, you will receive back by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But unfortunately, most of our believers, they have good money, they have good wealth, but they are that's why the Islam will go down. The reason people do not make charity, they are not give their zakat, they don't give any kind of help or such kind of help, and if they do, by show off, but also is not right, because qulubahum, which is everything has to be hiding by the whatever the person do. Even is okay sometimes if you do it by by show off, to only your intention to be to understand, to the education, to the other guy supposed to do it. But in the main is to after salat, after all the character of Islamic, to do charity is the second important act by moment. So these are all the information, the ayat that I mentioned it to you, probably some more, but I didn't have to search it. And so the differentiation again is not made it by a human being. That's by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in the Quran. So far that is and I gave you, those are called the definitions, because it was in the last week by Farsi language I mentioned it. So today, as you know, there always 1 week my program by Farsi for my people, in the second week the translation of that. So I hope that you get those who did not speak Farsi, but still he is born in America or some other, they speak the young people, to understand what is the difference between Mu'min and Muslim. And now we after all, and now I come to the main my program today, which you see in the back as a refugee or muhajir. And the main program, the main my today's talk is about that muhajir. So now the muhajir are immigrants, who they are and what kind they are, what kind people would be. Of course, the muhajir means the person to go somewhere, the person to change their position, their country, their house, their life. So these are all muhajir or immigrants. So the migration of the people will start from their own places, from their own country to the other places. That's all call it refugee or immigrants. In Arabic is muhajir. So this is not meaning that the person only for one reason to go to some places has to have. There is a lot of kind of migration is there, but most of the migration has come out by the two things: either by religion to change or to go to other place, either by famine of the condition of the famine of their country. If there is no food, there is no job, there is no things, there is nothing, they have to they have to change their life. They go somewhere else. Let's call it immigration. So in general point, the immigration, the immigrants, and the difference of they are this is two. One of them is even more. One of them is for about the religion. One of them is, like I said, about the some needy, some necessary to go. Other than that, it is not need to go. If it is everything is justice, it's fine. But it is the immigration is bring all kind of knowledge, experience, understanding, knowing the other people, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that I create إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. This also by itself, this is meaning that the person to go somewhere to know something, to understand something. For example, the all Afghani Muhajir, like we are, Alhamdulillah, when these for the reason of the way of Allah, they migrated, and mashallah they have all a better life, which is this is, and these are the promise of Allah is the one who migrated. If it is for the sake of Him, or the way of Allah, or the way of religion, or the way of keeping their life better, Allah gave him. Allah gave all the best. And I don't see from almost by myself, probably 38 years I'm or 39 years I am a Muhajir, but Alhamdulillah I have no problem all around my lives, because my intention in the first day that I was for the sake of way of my deen, my religion, that was under the condition, presses, and those other things, and then I refused. However, this is and also the kind of muhajirin is different also. We consider also the one who's traveling, that's also muhajir. Someone is go for the health, take care of a health point, so cannot receive a good health care in their own country, they can go to the other. It's also muhajir there. And someone about the education, someone is about the invitation, someone is about the vacations. All these are muhajir. There is no other name for it. Traveler, also called muhajir too. But the important point is about the one who has resist to another country and to accept the other country's rule and regulation, and that is the real muhajir. So the one is go there and then take some benefit and then go back, also is muhajir, but is a muhajir that cannot do much more what Allah has mentioned it to them. He is just traveler and then go to their own opinion, their way of benefit. And then about the muhajirin has a history from the whole of the world, all of the life of the human being, because only the human being is to count on him. Even though the birth, every human, every life living, they love to go somewhere, from one place to other, for food, for something, for weather, for birth, for to birth their babies somewhere they want, and but they enjoy to other. So these are all muhajir. So, and however, just I give you one break here, and inshallah after that, then I can give you about the history point about the muhajirin, some more information, inshallah. Stay with me.